What if I told you that the fall of an ancient empire, way back in the 15th century, is still making headlines today? Well, our story begins not with a newspaper, but with a single date that absolutely changed the world.
So, to really get what's happening in our story, we've got to jump in a time machine and head way back. We're talking the 15th century to a fateful day in May that, believe me, has cast a very, very long shadow over history.
So, May 29th, 1453. This is the day. The city of Constantinople, we're talking the capital of the Byzantine Empire, it falls. It's overrun by the Ottoman forces led by Sultan Mehmed II. And you have to understand, this wasn't just any city. For over 1,000 years, it was the absolute heart of Eastern Christianity, the very last remnant of the once mighty Roman Empire. The fall of Constantinople was way more than just one empire crumbling. This event literally redrew the map of the world. It sent these massive shockwaves through all of Christendom, and as we're about to see, it created echoes that are, unbelievably, still being felt centuries later. Okay, so hold that thought. Now, let's jump forward, way forward, 555 years to be exact. And the echo of that one single day, well, it's about to pop up in a totally different place. Right here, in the pages of a modern newspaper. So, boom, we've landed in London. The date is exactly the same, May 29th, but the year is 2008. The setting is completely different, but that date remains incredibly significant. And our guide for this part of the journey is the Leaf Etheria newspaper. It serves the Greek Cypriot community in London. Now, on the surface, it looks like just one day's news. But if you dig just a little deeper, you find a story that's been centuries in the making.
So the big question is, right? What on earth does a 555-year-old historical event have to do with the news in 2008? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out. Let's unwrap this thing and see just how a community's deep past is woven right into the fabric of its present.
The first thing you notice when you open this paper, the front pages aren't about ancient history at all. They are completely dominated by an urgent, ongoing political conflict that's touching lives every single day. And the central issue, the thing screaming from the headlines, is the division of Cyprus. I mean, the paper is just filled with reports on the political fallout from the 1974 invasion and the subsequent occupation of the northern part of the island. You can see the pressure is on. The paper is reporting on these really high-stakes negotiations about whether Turkey might join the European Union. And here, you've got the president of Cyprus at the time, Dimitris Christofias, quoted basically pressuring Turkey to meet its obligations regarding the divided island. And wow, you can just feel the diplomatic tension jumping off the page. The EU was demanding Turkey normalize its relations with Cyprus, open its ports and airports. But what does the newspaper report? A total, frustrating stalemate. Pretty much zero progress had been made, and it was a huge roadblock. And make no mistake, this was not just some local issue. The articles are dropping some seriously big names, showing you just how global this conflict was. We're talking mentions of the UN, top U.S. senators like Joe Biden and John McCain, and a whole host of international Hellenic organizations all weighing in on the island's future. But it's one thing to talk about high-level politics. The paper then takes us somewhere else entirely. It reveals the very real, very human cost of this conflict through some deeply personal stories. Just look at this picture. It's haunting. A single bed at a checkpoint in the UN buffer zone. That's the no man's land. It really captures that frozen-in-time feeling of the island's division. It's a daily, physical reminder of separation and loss. The newspaper features this incredibly powerful two-part story from a journalist whose own uncle was one of the 2,000 people, both Greek and Turkish Cypriots, by the way, who just disappeared during the conflict. And this quote from the article says it all. The dead die once. The disappeared die every day. It just perfectly captures that unending grief of families who have no answers. The article then gets even more grim. It details the discovery of a mass grave where her uncle's remains were finally found. And the details are just chilling. 12 men, some of them with their hands tied, all of them with bullet wounds. It's a stark, brutal reminder of the immense human tragedy hiding behind those political headlines. But, and this is so important, the paper also shows that even alongside all this pain and political struggle, life, culture, and community, they find a way to thrive with this incredible resilience. And this is where you really see the community's dual identity on full display. It's fantastic. On one page, they're absolutely buzzing, celebrating Greece's success in the Eurovision Song Contest, which, is a huge cultural touchstone. Then, you flip the page, and there's a passionate, heated debate about the English football star John Terry. It's a perfect snapshot of a life lived between two worlds. And that pride, it's just palpable. The paper proudly announces that Greece took third place in Eurovision. Now, for a diaspora community, moments of shared joy like this are absolutely vital. It's a connection back to the homeland. And then there's this. This headline isn't from the Premier League. It's celebrating a victory in the Copa League, a football league made specifically for the Cypriot community in London. This is where real life happens, week in and week out. So when you step back and look at it, this single newspaper from one single day becomes this incredible time capsule. It connects the deep, ancient past with the immediate, lived reality of the present. And really, it all comes together right here, in the paper's name, eleftheria. It's the Greek word for freedom. And suddenly, that name connects everything. The daily news, the political negotiations, the local football scores. It connects all of it to a much, much larger, centuries-long historical struggle. So this one artifact proves it, right? History isn't something that's just locked away in books. For this community, the fall of a city 555 years ago is a living, breathing presence. It shapes their identity, their politics, and their daily lives, right here and now. And that really leaves us with a provocative question to chew on, doesn't it? If someone opened a newspaper from your community 50 years from now, what story would it tell about you? And maybe more importantly, what unseen histories are shaping the headlines that we're reading today?